For those with good taste.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those With Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
What is up?
And we are back in the studio.
With more new additions. Hell yes.
I know, it always feels good when we get upgraded.
Yeah, and I feel like recently we've been on a real hot streak for it.
Dude, I now just want to start setting up comments where it's like, can you find the Easter eggs? What have we changed this week?
You know what we haven't done in a while, and I was thinking about, Matt, was that we haven't posted a picture of what the room actually looks like now. Like, I was thinking about like a side-by-side of when we started with just the two little chairs and like the mics.
Oh,
and,
you want to do an original how it started versus how it's going?
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. So like we should just make our goal to like maybe we'll find one of those a week or something.
That'd be pretty cool. And I mean, we're always looking to add new things.
Yeah.
So who knows? Every time you're tuning in to For Those With Good Taste, we might just have a little something new and extra to show you.
And if you like the additions that you've seen, or if you just in general like us, just do us a favor. Why don't you hit the button down below, the little thumbs up button, this one. Thank you. There's also a little red button. It says subscribe. They should help us out with that, right?
Yeah.
Please. And what else, Matt? What
hit us in the chat, y'all.
Social media, Good Taste Live on Twitter, For Those With Good Taste
Instagram.
on Instagram. And let's get this motherfucker rolling, Matt?
What have you been up to, Lenny?
So I got a couple things going on. One is more a you thing than a me thing, but we could start with me. I just finished Buffy.
I like starting with you. Oh shit. Okay, yeah,
Buffy,
you're coming in hot.
I banged out 6 seasons. In all transparency, I skipped the first season. Most of the time, first season suck on shows. If you disagree, you're wrong.
Even on some of the good ones.
Yeah.
Like I remember going back to like The Wire in the first season. Slow build. That doesn't really kick off until season 2.
I feel like whenever I do say that, though, I get like there's like obviously 100 TV shows that have had great first seasons.
You're not always going to be correct, but when you are right, I mean, you're right. You can't really disagree with that. I mean, I remember watching the 100 and you were like, dude, you just got to get through that first season. And very happy that I did.
Yeah, so this was one of those, I jumped to the second season. I've always had trouble with shows where I've wanted to go back and rewatch something and like getting into it. And I just find that that's an easier way to do it. And yeah, I popped in, I finished 5 seasons now in about a 3-week period, I would say.
We do got to start gauging like timelines, like when we start as opposed to when we finish, because I feel like there might be some records in there.
Yeah, I binge a lot, dude.
lot.
I'm a heavy binger.
I've gone through 6 seasons of The Challenge. I don't even want to tell you the timeline there.
Yeah, I know that life, dude. I'm gonna be back in, dude.
It's rough.
Maybe we can time this up because I have a couple more things I want to watch. So like on my agenda coming up, because I do for some reason like plan ahead how I'm gonna do this a little bit. So it's like I've started watching now the last season. I'm skipping 4 seasons of Angel.
Oh my god! We'll eventually get the logic behind how you watch shows.
Well,
because I feel like it needs to be broken down.
Buffy, it basically picks up at the end of Buffy. So like it's like 19 days after the finale of Buffy is when the 5th season of Angel starts. And you know, like I've watched most of the first season.
Was that Jessica Alba?
No, Angel is fucking David Boreanaz.
Oh, sorry, dude.
The fact that you have not seen Buffy enough to know who Angel is.
I think no
madness, dude. That is.
I know that Jessica Alba
madness,
had a show
dude.
back then. Sorry.
But yeah, so I'm gonna be banging out season 5 of that. At the same time, I want to watch the Planet of the Apes trilogy. That's also on my current docket.
So where do I sign?
Yeah, you're on board,
bro. You had me at Planet of the Apes. You didn't even have to say trilogy.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing the Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, all right. Well, disappointment sets in.
Well, like, because if that's where you're like, oh, you got
no,
me.
I'm kidding, man. It starts with James Franco, 100%.
Yeah, so that's where I'm gonna be going to next. But the challenge is also lined up in there.
Yeah, I can definitely take that ride with you because it's been a fun journey, and I'm already. I don't want to say I'm already committed to finishing these next couple seasons relatively quickly,
dude,
but
you have so much left in front of you. You've only watched 6 seasons, dude.
Well,
I've watched 15 of them, and I have 15 left. I'm pretty sure. No, I have 10 left.
I'm on season 20.
There's 37 seasons.
Well, I started at season 11.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like they just have like
yeah, there's just so many.
You have a lot left, dude. And I know how good it is, so I know like you're hitting like the really good stuff right now.
I feel like I'll need a palate cleanser, and I feel like we'll eventually come to one of those.
Well, that's what Buffy was.
Yeah,
you know, like that's where it was. Like I was
very
literally
palate.
15 seasons in. Well, to talk about that, it's really like all the Joss Whedon stuff has been in the news about how shitty he is to people who work for him. And Buffy had come up, and it led to me wanting to see if I could identify in the show
the oppression.
Yeah, and I definitely can see like where Cordelia wouldn't like the way her character was portrayed. Like, there's a lot of like, I don't know, it's really weird to watch any of those shows because like obviously like I've watched a lot of WB or CW shows through my life.
Absolutely.
You know, from the shows like Buffy or Arrow to the shows like I've seen my fair share of fucking Gossip Girl, you know? So,
no, I know.
And all of those shows, like they take a weird look at like teenagers in general, but seeing the way he like portrays the women on that show not as very strong. Also the fact that like I'm pretty sure he wrote Xander as a representation of himself, and I don't know, you're not that funny, dude. Like it was like
he's trying to kind of paint it from his perspective, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, in which to all like it's his right. He created it, you know, like that's his property. He can like wherever he derives his inspiration from is fine, but like, you know, using
where your insecurities lie.
He's like he's just the standard of what Hollywood is to, or what is Hollywood's look back on now, right? He's another one of those guys who it's like, oh, if you're a woman and don't like grovel to me for your screen time and like
you're not
let me sexualize you, you're not going to get more screen time, and like it causes her to go to another show, which is basically still his show, but it's a little separate. I don't know, because she's on Angel. So.
It's just a weird scenario when you start looking back. There's so many patterns and trends that you're like, all right, man. Like at this point, we kind of understand who you are as a person, and kind of taint some of your work a little bit. But it's cool that you got to wrap Buffy. What were your final thoughts coming out of it?
I mean, it was great, man. I actually like my favorite character, Spike. I don't like what they did at some points with him, but I mean, we don't have to go all day on Buffy. It's old hat. I will say this, like I do wonder if Joss Whedon is going to like work again. I imagine he has to, but this has not been kind to him the past few months. Like I mean, between the Ray Fisher stuff and the Buffy stuff, like nobody on that cast came to his like support, right? From Cordelia's character, I can't remember her name right now. Charisma Carpenter is her name. Yeah, it's Charisma Carpenter.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I'm definitely good on that. Yeah, it's Charisma Carpenter. Her, like Michelle Trachtenberg from Eurotrip, like all of them, like have pretty much been like he sucked. Like, he was an uncomfortable
and you've got nobody backing you at this point, so it's like if everyone's kind of hitting the list and you're checking off, okay, this guy's a douchebag, this guy's terrible to work with, this guy doesn't know how to treat his how would you say, his artists, you could say. Mm-hmm. You kind of wonder if time's gonna.
Is what they're called.
No, I mean they're artists, dude.
Okay, no, that's fair.
You think
it's honestly fair. You're
what
right.
Ray Fisher did as Cyborg wasn't art, dude?
That seems like borderline insulting to him. Like even though like he did a hell of a job, but like I don't think you're saying it in a truly complimentary way.
Sarcasm is my second language.
Yeah,
we don't need to go there.
But like, okay, let's move on from Buffy. I want to talk about you, Matt. I wanna do our famed segment, everybody.
It's going to become a lot more famed, I feel like, after all this.
Let's get into it, Matt. Yeah. Matt's Manchester Minute. Here we are.
Oof. Feels like Matt, a weird place to be.
So, Matt, let's start on the minor details, right? How's Man City doing? Have we been losing?
We just got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. We lost to Chelsea, but we're still technically in the Champions League, and we're going to win the English Premier League, barring any weird information that's just been released. Which I'm sure is what you're about to allude to.
Well, dude, before we even go there, because like there's obviously a reason I'm bringing this up, but like I thought your team used to be good.
No, we are fucking good, dude. It's just you play 3 games in a week, and you're gonna start having some things fall between the cracks. Fitness plays an issue. We lost Kevin De Bruyne in that Chelsea game.
That's a tough hit. I know that.
And it looks like he's going to be out for probably the rest of the season, which is fine because we played most of the season without him. But losing someone like that when you're about to go into a huge Champions League match, it's kind of tough. But we don't even know if that match is going to happen.
Is that because the Super La Liga is coming?
Man, you nailed it, buddy. You've been working on your pronunciations.
To our novice soccer viewers out there, not saying I'm included, but I might be included.
I would say that's a 95% margin.
Is Super League, if I knew nothing about it, is it basically as if the 900 leagues that are in soccer in Europe all had a fucking baby and then they bred one giant league?
You would almost think about that.
One league to rule them all.
You would think that in a sense where it almost sounds like everyone's included. All the best are going to play, right? That's almost what a Super League sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this is, Lenny. This is, for lack of a better word, this is greed at its finest. You
American
have
greed, would you say, Matt?
no. Unfortunately, there's American ownership involved.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, no, I know. I definitely get that, but it springs across the world globally because when you look at the big teams that are included, 12 teams were initially launched and announced. We had Manchester City, best team in England, one of the best teams in Europe.
I mean, if I'm looking at recency bias, are they?
Their noisy neighbors, Manchester United, who have
Okay.
been shit for the past 10 years.
We talk about my guys.
The shithousers, Liverpool. Yep, they're included. Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea were the big six of England. Then we went over to Spain, and we had Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid.
Wow.
Top three teams in Spain right now.
So, is one of them really athletic, or is one never mind.
Let's not get into name origins because we don't have enough time in that. But then we jump over to Italy, and we have the two Milan teams, Inter and AC, and then Juventus. And all this means, Len, is that the 12 biggest teams, quote unquote, biggest teams in the world,
The forefathers
decided that they didn't want to be included in leagues where their losses could be taken into account. So right now, the big league, the Super League, is actually the Champions League. If you're in the Champions League, you're playing the best from Italy, Spain, England, Germany, France, and they all get to play each other in a knockout stage-like tournament.
Sounds
in this sense,
dude.
it's pretty awesome. You don't always get the results. If you're a Manchester City fan, you never get the results that you want. But if you're a fan of teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, these are teams that have won these titles hand in and hand out almost every year. Imagine being told that tournament isn't good enough for your team, and we don't want to play that tournament. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a tournament in a league of these 12 teams. We're gonna play each other 2 to 3 times a year, and it's almost like an NFL style bracket where the top 4 teams at the end of the year will go into a final playoff. Now, Lenny, you would ask yourself, why would anybody want to do this if you've got the Champions League? Guaranteed $250 million just for joining.
Well, I was gonna say, so where does the because there's always got to be a prize, and there's got to be a reason for all these teams to want to jump on board, and the money is the crux of everything, obviously. Who is funding an entire? It's not cheap to fund a whole league, right?
Well,
Is it the Queen of England?
Because you've got the big who's who of team owners and team presidents being at the
John
head of this.
Henry.
These guys get to, at the worst possible time, are basically getting loans from J.P. Morgan and other large banks, and they're the ones that are going to fund this. Hey, if you accept our invitation, $250 million just to start. If you enter the tournament and you become one of the finalists, you have an opportunity to win up to $400 million.
Now, because again, don't know anything about soccer.
This all sounds cool.
If you take that $250 million, do you now get to can you use that money to sign more players? So now are you instantly gonna take away the ability for any lower level team to ever grow because they can't afford to if you can offer more money than God to the best players in the world, You're gonna harbor all of those players, right?
Not only are you gonna harbor those players, you're gonna make it so that talent doesn't really have an opportunity to grow in some of these smaller markets. And that's what soccer has really been, or football, European football has really been known for. Some of the best players will start off playing at 16, 17 years old for some of these smaller clubs, build that club up, make that club a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then that club gets to sell him for 40, 50 million euros or pounds. And now
I hate
they
that
start
you can
making
say,
money.
sell somebody.
Yeah.
It's a really weird way to put it.
And it's called the transfer market. And they don't prize with the words. You're not trading a player. You're literally selling his contract and his rights to a team.
Well, that's one the short period of time I played FIFA for, and you taught me some stuff about soccer. I always found it really interesting, and I think it's actually a good idea that when you have a 19-year-old player or something like that you can loan them to another team so they can go get playing time. I think that's pretty cool.
You get playing time, and it's really what I think the minor leagues is supposed to be for Major League Baseball. The B League is supposed to be for the NBA. I think it's the G League. I'm not sure. I'm mixing that up. But all in all, man, what you're talking about with the Super League is that now these big teams, Real Madrid, Manchester City, United, can just go up to any young player on any team and say, you're going to sell him to us for this amount of money, and we're going to keep him, and he's going to get to play in as many games as we want him to. For these smaller teams, it means you have no chance at marketing, no chance of advertising, no chance of having a young player really develop with you and develop his brand, which makes it no player is going to want to go to these teams.
To those teams, yeah.
And what you're also saying for some of these big teams is that our history doesn't matter. We're interested in making money for the short term. In the long term, it's going to benefit everybody. Long story short, Len, 2 teams have already dropped out unofficially.
Is it because of backlash?
Supposedly they were prepared for backlash. I don't think they were prepared for this much. There are talks of them being sued for $50 million. I think the word is billion, $50 billion each.
Well, that makes that $250 million not seem so worth it anymore.
Yeah, when you've got emails saying that you're going to get sued, a lot of that kind of starts making a little bit more sense to you. So
Christ.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, man. I think that going forward, you're going to see a lot of fans backlash and really just kind of speak out about how much they hate their clubs at this point for doing this. I don't think in the long term this gets signed off on. That's my opinion. Lock it in if you want to. If it does happen, it's supposed to happen in August.
My last thing would just be, so I like if I'm doing the math on what you've just told me, right, and I'm using the recency bias that I've been given, right, you're probably heavily against this, not only because it just sounds like a bad idea and it's largely selfish, but you're also like probably looking at it as, damn, I wouldn't want Manchester City to go have to play all these juggernauts because we're struggling a lot as it is right now.
No.
So it would be really, really terrible if we had to play like round robin tournaments against just the best teams.
Lenny, we do that already, man.
Yeah.
We just knocked out second best team in Germany.
Who you got knocked?
We're gonna knock out.
Was it Bayern Munich?
It was Borussia Dortmund. No, man. What it is that Manchester City are already considered one of the best teams in Europe. They already have a shitload of money because they're owned by a oil tycoon, if you will.
Conglomerate.
Yeah. One of the sheiks over in Saudi Arabia. Money isn't an issue for this team. So as a fan of that, we already get enough shit that our team buys a bunch of players and we don't earn our wins. Now you're telling me that these people who can afford just about anybody are now making it so that they can guarantee that they can afford anybody. It just, to me, it doesn't feel like we're winning at this point. It really kind of feels like we're just making sure that we don't lose.
And that's how we turn Matt's Manchester Minute into 5 minutes on soccer.
What are you going to do?
I love me some footy, though, so that was a real blast.
Drop your insights. Let me know what you think.
Let's go on to our next sport that neither one of us actually watch, but I enjoy far more.
I think I would enjoy playing it.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
No. But I mean, I would have liked to be like a duck when I was younger.
Well,
like
yeah, maybe that's
animal.
why I would have enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
You know, Mighty Ducks Game Changers, buddy.
Back at it again, dude.
I know, dude.
Are we on episode 5?
We are on episode 5. Yeah.
Episode 5.
Nailed it.
The episode that I've liked the least, I think.
It's interesting that you say that because I kind of felt myself thinking the same thing.
I've heard different feedback, though. I've had people tell me they liked it a lot.
Tell me why it kind of had that dip in form for you.
I didn't, from a storytelling perspective, as crazy as it sounds to say, like, oh, like storytelling in this Disney Plus kids show. I didn't like that we finally get Gordon Bombay the coach, and it's just to have him try to get laid.
Dude.
To be very clear, I don't hate it. It finally opened my eyes to like the fact that guy's essentially just been a coach his whole career so that he can get some poon.
Yeah, man.
Like every single movie, it's him using one of his kids to like bang their mom or bang their teacher.
Oh, this has been like
their
if you
coach.
Read between the lines, man. He's been doing this to Charlie Conway's mom for years,
and
nobody wanted to act like he banged the Iceland assistant coach.
I wonder why he's never been able to settle down. You know, he seems like a likable guy to me.
I feel like he's likable in segments. I feel like I could do an hour of Gordon Bombay a day.
I definitely wouldn't want to be like, if I was a female, I could see where it's not appealing to be married to the guy who will just eat leftover cake from somebody else.
Dude, he pounces on that cake. He's like, all right, are they done?
Yeah.
They're still
like,
skating? I'm gonna grab that cake.
So I wasn't a huge fan of that. I also just in general, I don't think I really liked I like the character, the kids' characters. Like I think they all like are really funny and unique. And not to say the parents are terrible, but like because obviously Carl, Nick is not Nick. Nick has the lesbian mom.
Evan,
so predictable.
Logan,
Evan. Yeah. So Evan's mom is great. Right?
Evan's mom is great. Yeah.
She's really good, but
she's very committed.
I don't necessarily want a whole episode based around her like having to do a slap shot, and then the outcome of said slap shot is like the most.
She still loses.
there's a bunch of unbelievable stuff. I don't care that she the loss was stupid too, but like I just don't like that back-to-back weeks. It's like we got no setup on the spin around shot, right?
She jumped 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It was insane.
In like with no change, like this dude just randomly. Nobody questions why. I didn't like that he just had a thing of pecan pie or whatever.
We just talked about how he's always stealing extra cake, dude.
No, so that's what I was told. Like, and somebody cleared that up for me, but I still don't even agree with that because still, if I was the kids on the team, and I was like, dude, what is this like? Fucking dude,
whose pecan pie is this?
Yeah,
Can I get in on this?
He just had it down below.
I don't know, man. That can't be.
He
fresh.
didn't run to the back and was like, I had something.
Just to
in
keep
case.
that on the Zamboni, maybe. I don't know.
That's funny.
It
could be on the bony.
A lot of things there.
Did you like the sleepover?
Sleepover was kids singing.
Dude. That
voice of an angel.
Fucking
a mix between Fergie and Jesus, if I could say so myself.
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting, the dynamic of no screen time. I always have my screen. I'm going to sing. I'm having an awesome time at this party. Can I sleep over again? No, bro. Sleepover's one night. Sorry.
For sure is, dude. And like, I think we all had like, or at least I definitely had a person who I feel like would stay over 3 or like sometimes 2 or 3 nights. Like it was a neighbor. So it wasn't like that. They were that far away. Go. But yeah, it's like at some point, I want to wake up and play my games.
We were also
own,
only children.
Yeah.
Like me to an extent. So I was 12, but being an only child, you're like, I need my fucking space, dude. Get the hell out of here.
I'm used to being able to wake up in peace.
Yeah, I don't want to have to make you breakfast.
I'm not putting on a show.
I'm not sharing my waffles with you, dude.
Fuck yeah, no.
Fuck off, bro.
Well, that also is just an economics issue where like I only have 4 slots in the toaster.
You have a 4-slot toaster?
Yeah.
I got stuck with a 2-slot.
Well, so I guess I had the 2-slot at some point, but I definitely graduated to a 4-slotter.
Man, must have been nice.
And I'm a big like I don't know how you are with Eggos, but if I'm making Eggos, I'm making 4 Eggos.
Yeah. Do you put it back in the toaster after you butter it?
No, dude.
All right.
That sounds like I'm afraid I'll start a fire. Is mostly
see. I just don't give a shit. At this point, I'm Gordon Bombay.
Man.
I'm Gordon Bombay. I'm doing whatever
man,
it takes to get where I need to be, and I think that's what I didn't really like about this episode. If we're returning back to Game Changers, for me, the Sophie dynamic is really tough to understand. Not to understand, but she. Dude,
your kid is, you got to be careful, dude. Like, learn a lesson from this, dude.
I can't put that type of pressure on her, man.
Make sure she's not playing multiple sports teams.
Like,
and taking the bus to all of them.
The idea that a kid, already has a crazy hectic schedule, but then she can fit in an extra bus, ride to the other team that she's playing for, and then she's able to come back. We've seen that story before.
She got caught at the rink and just books it, hops on a bus, and is just like, yeah, no, I'll get there. Like, but they won't find me. And it was just, you might as well just waited and hopped in the car.
Dude, how much of an asshole is this Ducks coach? It's like, what's she doing in a clown suit?
Yeah. I mean, he sucks, dude. He's not, like, fuck that guy.
He's not a good dude.
I don't even like him, like, as a character that much. I was, like, kind of thinking about how, like, as far as, like, taking the bus, like, you remember when you were a little kid and you were in trouble, like, maybe it was, like, the day you got your progress report at school, right? And at least for me, I would have been fucked if I had to like get the progress report as I was leaving to go home, and then like your mom's at the door and you have to just hop in the car with her with the bad progress report. The best part for me was that I had my walk from school home to my house to both like cope with the trauma that I was about to go through.
Did you ever change your grades?
I maybe lost my progress report a few times.
Sometimes that walk was just a little too long for me, buddy. I was like, you know what, man? I got 20 minutes to burn. I can try and change these C's to A's real quick.
I was a big try to get rid of it, but my high school would put on the front like board in front of the school like
sign those progress reports.
Well, like progress reports and then the date. Yeah, and it's like fuck you. You knew the game too well, dude.
It's almost like they've done it before.
But you know what I mean? So you need that hour to like think of all your answers for stuff and really play out all the scenarios. And I feel like that's really what she was doing. Yeah. There was no chance she was going to get away, but she needed to take this hour bus ride to be like, okay, how am I going to explain the jersey? Like, well, I tripped and I fell and the jersey was there and like I must have fallen into the jersey and I don't know, like Evan gave it to me and like it's kind of his fault.
I lost my jersey.
Yeah.
That would have been my answer. I had this one laying around. I knew this was just a practice.
Ice rinks are cold.
I didn't think she thought on her feet there, but the dynamic was really tough, man. But overall, I thought that this episode wasn't as there was a little too much focus on Bombay getting laid and Sarah trying to prove something that I think we lost a little bit of focus on the kids and what's supposed to matter.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I already was feeling, so we're gonna get into next the Winter Soldier, right? And we'll spend a couple minutes there. But I think the difference here, and I don't know if you feel this way, we're at the point now with the Winter Soldier where I've really enjoyed the series, although I feel like it's to this. We have a lot to fit into one episode,
Yeah.
right? We have a lot to try and wrap up here and a lot to fit into one episode. Vice versa, though, with Mighty Ducks, I think I was at the point where I've been saying the whole time, like, wow, we have 10 episodes.
Yeah, where are we going
and,
with this?
And I think we're going to get 1 to 2 filler episodes, and maybe this is it. Maybe next week might even be a filler before we really hit, like, the peak.
Man, I'm hoping
for
these
it.
fillers aren't full of
You
Gordon
know,
Bombay trying to filler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, he's filled it up already, probably.
Bringing a whole new meaning to Slapshot.
I suppose, are there any other characters that they really need to flesh out? Because that's what these episodes are really doing, is they're building a core, like 4 or 5 kids to really focus on here.
The odd introduction of Logan's dad.
Yeah.
Still didn't quite understand that
Mhm.
one. We haven't really gotten a spotlight put on Logan yet.
The other thing real quick that I didn't like as far as development was the goalie, right? The issue isn't like, I didn't have a problem with the kid. Like, we know he uses his phone and everything, and sure, he should break out of the shell. The issue I had was, like, you're just a bad goalie. So how are we not talking about
How are we
the
gonna
fact
fix that?
that is so now because they're best friends, right? This is my fear for this show, because we saw it happen again with the Evan spin around goal. I'm afraid it goes the same way, where you get the spin around goal, but you got none of the build up to show how he did it.
Yeah.
So now are we to us would you be surprised if next episode or something he's all of a sudden saving goals way better, and it's because now he's happier to be on the team? That's just not true. That's kind of corny.
You're not showing me that hard work is how you get somewhere, right? You're up until now we've been banking on this Minnesota Miracle Man thing, which again I'm gonna say probably one of the best nicknames.
My
I think you
favorite,
mentioned that.
Yep.
You got to wonder what is this character development for him? How is keeping his face out of screens going to make him a better keeper? I don't know how it works.
It's a good point. So like I had said, Winter Soldier, Matt.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you watch it, actually? But you just find that out first. Did you watch it?
I mean, unlike some people we know, when I commit to watching something, I watch it real time.
You get her done.
I get her done. And not only did I get her done, I did it twice. Yeah.
You're a 2-pump chump?
Yeah. I felt good about this episode. There was a lot of stuff to unpack.
You felt that way?
I felt like there was a lot to unpack, and I felt like there were a lot of moments that I was waiting for, and when we got to those moments, I kind of had to figure out how I felt about them. Does that make sense?
I mean, sure. I found that there's a certain pattern that's been developed that has stuck around.
Yeah, but you nailed that first week.
This was even more so. There was just a lot of talking in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
I
feel like we
don't-
get a lot of dialogue.
It wasn't bad. I find all of these characters to be captivating and interesting. And then there were some definitely big developments that we can get into, JLD being a big one, right? But the actual episode as a whole, right? The pace is just hard, I think, in some ways.
Yeah,
It's it's the Walking Dead thing, right?
It's you know that it's worth it.
Mhm.
You're just not sure if you want to go through it, because I knew that each one of these conversations that they were having was important. The one specifically where it's Sam and Isaiah,
Mhm.
they're talking
That's
about
huge.
why what is it? I don't want to mess up the term.
Yeah.
A respectful black man wouldn't find themselves wanting to be Captain America.
Yes. You find out why he's why he feels the way he does, and a very powerful, impactful. Not to cut you off, I do
No,
apologize,
you're
but,
there.
So I want to reference back to this. I think after episode 2, I was questioning some of the motives that were going on in the messaging in the episodes.
Sure.
And I think this was the answer to my question there. And who am I to say, right? There's people far more qualified. I understand that, to speak on if they did it in the proper way,
Yeah.
or what it was. But I just feel like, at least, no matter how you might have felt about their answer, at least we did get
An answer.
Yeah, they gave you some social outlines in those first 2 episodes to get you to, this is a conversation that we're going to have.
We even mentioned it.
Yeah.
We're hoping that they use this for something valuable, right?
Yeah.
There's an end game for it, and whether you like it or you don't, you have to respect the fact that they were able to resolve something if that sticks to a point. So
well, I don't know if we got a resolution.
And so maybe resolution.
It's been through the resolutions for, because I think that conversation's like really helps Sam.
Does
right?
It? Because it kind of it draws a little bit of a conflict.
Well, but it should, right?
Yeah.
You should know all of the, and especially in a large decision such as this, I think it's fair to be like, I want to know all of the
everything,
angles,
yeah.
right, on that. But I don't think it delivers any real resolution for what's his name?
Isaiah.
Yeah. I don't think it.
I don't think that there will be, but I think we get to understand him way more, and we also get to understand exactly what he had to face. If you're drawing parallels to him and Captain America, he's describing the exact same scenario that Cap went through. My guys got captured. I broke the rules to go save them. My reward was that I was captured for 30 years and experimented on.
Yeah.
Where Captain America became this limelight figure.
It's a hard story. It's crazy that it's
tough.
It's you know what's nuts, man, is that it is within the context. It is something that wouldn't happen in real life because superheroes don't exist, right? And that's what I mean. But like at its simplest form, it hits you because it would happen, or it has happened.
It's like, happening now,
and it's like that's what's so crazy is that you can raise the scale of something to like 1 million because it's a superhero movie, but it's like at the same time they're able
at its core,
yeah.
It has the same meaning.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that this episode did really well because you go from that conversation to Bucky and his understanding of Sam. Mm-hmm. And man,
it did seem like a little weird that he was able to jump right to understanding because you didn't understand at the beginning of the series. You know what I mean? Like he was pissed at him for not taking the shield, but then instantly is like, oh no, like I get it. Like, you know.
But do you think that their experience with John Walker like helped him understand it? Because
it might have helped him understand what the weight of that responsibility does, but it didn't make him understand the social issue, like the social standpoint of it, of like being a black man and taking it. But I just don't understand how that would have changed.
But he says this after he's spending time with Sam and his family,
sure,
and understanding what, and they don't show it to us. I don't think it's completely obvious why you get to see Bucky's turnaround, but I do think that he's found some sense of resolution or resolution. He's found a sense of resolution within himself. And he is now able to maybe see everything from a different perspective.
I think you can even just say resolve, right?
I feel like
you can find some resolve in yourself. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that was pretty great. Just storytelling in general. You mentioned just the time spent with the family. I enjoyed all of those moments. Like I said, I didn't dislike the episode. It's just it is a weird pace to be like, this is the episode before the finale, right? And we got something to where we got kind of a throwback to Civil War, right? With the fight scene at the very beginning, which was incredible. I thought was a lot of really fun stuff. Some of the best, some of the action that I think Marvel has done really well because that Civil War fight scene is fantastic. Yeah. We got like the ultimate finisher in this, by the way, where you had...
Dude, they almost 3D'd him. It was
even worse than that, dude. Like, because he had him lift him up in like kind of 3D, of course, swing him more so into it. Cesaro swing into like a mean John Cena shoulder block.
Oh,
like,
dude, it was...
And they broke the shit out of his arm.
Oh, yeah, that was the cool thing, I think, too, is you got to see them really inflict like heavy damage onto
Take no prisoners.
John. It
felt a little mean because it was very much like we've been waiting to do this when you're like, this is why this guy turned out the kind of the way he is right now, right?
But that was, I think, the fun part. Not fun. I don't want to make this sound messed up. That was the interesting part about it, was because they were like, all right, man, give us the shield. You give us the shield, we're cool. We can find a way to... So it was almost like they gave him an out. They were like, all right, man, we don't want to have to whoop your ass. We do. We don't want to have to. Just give us the shield. Let's go figure this out.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's like, no, man, you don't get it. I am Captain America. That's where Bucky's like, well, fucking... All right, let's do this shit, dude. I'm going to fuck you up. And that's where... It made that scene come to fruition, and it really helped you really just understand how all this came to be. Is they were on the side where they didn't think John Walker deserved it, and we understand that he maybe didn't deserve it, or maybe there was too much pressure on him, and maybe that's why you don't put the shield on somebody. But then it gives us the reasoning why Sam maybe should be taking on the mantle, which is, I think, what we're left with.
So there's a chance that by the time a lot of people are watching this, that the final episode is already going to be airing, right? So let's tie up a couple little things. We got Zemo being apprehended by the people from Wakanda, right? And he's going to be brought to the ship, or
That's a big scene right before that. Like Bucky not pulling the trigger.
So that's why is that a big scene? Like I don't think did you at any point in there? I actually thought it was a little personally. I thought it was a little corny.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it didn't fit to me because there was no chance he was going to shoot him because you didn't shoot the guy who just fucking murdered somebody in front of your eyes in the middle of the street who you didn't think was entitled to what they are or whatever. Yeah. So it's already against your code to do so. And it would just kind of spit in the face of all of the stuff that you're setting up in that he had to go through all this stuff to get past it. That to me, it just didn't have any real impact because I never believed that he was going to shoot him. And then the whole dropping the bullets thing. It's like Zemo seems smart enough to know that this dude wasn't going to.
Yeah, but I think that was, I don't know, maybe it's corny in a way, but that's kind of what I liked about it. It's because it was almost ceremonial. Like he had to go through that moment where he would have a chance to pull the trigger on Zemo, and he ultimately chose not to. And now you're left with Zemo being...
He chose not to, like, way before he... I think it's corny because, like, it's not like you had the bullets in the gun even. Like,
it's... again, ceremonial. I got to get to this moment so that I can say I chose not to. Okay. Maybe it's cheesy. I kind of...
So you have that, and you also have now Sam... You got a couple Rocky training montages of him with the shield. So what do you think, now that we're going into this final episode, and like I said, the episode may already be out by the time you see this, so you get to grade us on whether or not we're just fucking idiots. You can already grade us on that, actually, in the chat. Like you can already.
Pretty sure the jury's already out on that one.
Yeah, you sold. What do you think we're looking at? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Yep.
So we got to know that. We need to know, is Sam gonna just be the greatest person at slinging that thing after like 6 hours in the backyard?
You think that was 6 hours?
I don't know, man. It seemed like it was pretty quick. It seemed pretty quick. Like it hasn't been like a month that he's out there, man.
It kind of felt like he was out there for a month, dude.
But like, how does that work? Because this girl's trying to like mobilize an army. We didn't even get into like GSP's back.
They sent out an email,
and I said we actually were going to get into JLD. We didn't even. So like that's another thing of like what is her impact going to be on? So JLD is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, right? What is her impact going to be on the series? We still don't know what who the lone what's the person's name who
the power broker.
Who the power broker is? Is it the girl Carlette?
Carly.
Dude, that was that close.
Carly, yeah, spot on. I'm even mad that you missed it because it almost feels like had you put in a little bit more effort, you probably could have got it right.
Wow, Carlette.
You were just wanting to be like Carl. No, it's Carly, dude.
Okay.
Jesus.
So is she? No, not that. No, different person. Carly's the redhead. I'm talking about the Cap squeeze.
Oh, Carol?
No, is it Carol?
Oh no, you're talking Agent Carter, right? Cap squeeze.
God, this is really bad. The girl who's in the episode with the power broker, the one who came from.
Oh yeah, I don't know her name.
We're dying of death. Right
Shannon.
Now. Is it Shannon?
Yeah, Shannon. Sharon Rogers.
Sharon, dude, that's teamwork at its finest, dude. That was super cool.
Don't cut that because I want people to understand what we just went through.
Yeah, the plight of Oz.
It was tough.
With the keyboard in front of us that we could have found that out far faster.
And we're back if we did.
So no, we're not gonna cut that. That's staying in. So is she going to be the power broker? There's just a lot of questions. So what JLD? Do you think she's coming back in this episode? There is rumors that this is kind of out of sequence, right?
Yeah.
Because you would have gotten Black Widow already at this point if everything was released according to plan, and she was supposed to have already been in that. So we might be seeing something a little out of sequence.
If you're a comic book fan or you're just a Marvel storyline fan, you kind of understand that this is the other woman that works with Agent Carter, and they basically start the femme fatales of the Marvel universe. They lead a group of women that. Great superhero, all that stuff. We haven't been able to tie that in, but that's what I think it is.
Are we changing? Like, are we never? Somebody gonna transition then?
No,
like, Cap gonna.
There's been talks, at least from what I've read, people trying to guess at who she is.
Mm-hmm.
If she's over here basically recruiting the now rogue Captain America,
we might end up with like a sinister version of the Avengers.
Yeah, we don't. It does lead me to believe that she's probably leading some team. We just don't know how they're tying her into the storyline.
Yeah.
If you're following comics, she's supposed to be a good guy, they kind of make her seem like she's a
She
bad guy or
didn't
even an
seem-
anti-hero type thing going on.
Yeah, she definitely didn't seem too good. Do you have any thoughts on what's in the box?
I think it's a really cool collaboration between the Captain America suit and the Falcon suit.
I believe if we really wanted to, you can actually just look up what it looks like already because there's like action
I
figures
don't,
for
no,
it. But
I don't want to do that.
yeah, we won't spoil it for ourselves. That I assume that's also what's inside of that. We're gonna get a lot of beat 'em up, I assume, on this episode. There's gonna with the amount of not action that happened in this episode, I assume this is gonna be balls to wall. I mean, you got the little post credit thing here.
I mean, you also said we didn't even mention GSP and Carly meeting
yeah.
up.
So you got the post credit where they take over the little bunker room
Yep.
here. So it's heating up, and I'm really excited for this last episode. I hope it's better than obviously what I felt about WandaVision. But
Okay,
we'll give it time.
you're hoping it delivers.
Yeah, I assume you do. You feel the same way.
I hope so, man.
So what else has delivered along the way, and we are just we're running a little late on time here, right? So
That's some good stuff to talk about.
Let's run through a couple trailers that dropped since our last episode, Matt. Do you want to start with the most recent one? Do we want to start at Shang-Chi?
I mean, I think that'd be a great place to start.
Awesome. So we just got done watching this not too long ago.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts coming out of it?
Really just loved the visuals.
Yes.
Everything.
That's Marvel.
Yeah. So when I mean just the visuals, not just the CGI stuff, but when you look at, it looked like there was an old school Chinese war going on.
Mm-hmm.
Very very similar to Curse of the Golden Flower almost.
All right.
Where the scenes 1,000 people battling at once. All of the fight sequences looked really cool, but then they modernize it really, really quickly in some of the scenes as well. So I just think there's a really cool dynamic where you're going to get some old school war scenes, but then you're also going to get some modern day fight scenes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Listen, I definitely liked it. I don't know the actor very well.
That's what I needed
to know
I needed
him
to look him up.
a little better than myself, right? My concern is this. So I'm well known as far as I love, for the 90s, I was very much into the fucking lead actor, whether it was Sly Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, those guys, the big tough guy.
Yeah, big action guys.
Action heroes. Later 90s, early 2000s, my preferred action style of movie actually turned more to Jet Li was a really, really big name for me in 99 to 2005, 2006,
Jet Li,
I would
Jackie
say.
Chan.
So Jackie Chan was more, I guess, 90s. He had fallen off a little bit,
Sure.
I feel in the early 2000s, and he's come back more recently.
When was Shanghai Noon?
Yeah, that's late 90s, early 2000.
Okay.
But
spot on.
the Tuxedo is 2006,
That's
and that's
rough.
a really
yeah,
bad
that's
movie.
a rough movie.
I digress though. So what I mean is I loved that style of movie. I loved those action sequences, and I think for a really good martial arts movie, it needs to be more one shot to be great. So I'm just hoping that we don't get an over stylized Marvel thing here. Iron Fist was not a good starting point as far as martial arts movies or characters
It's a huge miss.
in this universe, right? So as long as we correct some of the wrongs that were done there, and we have a guy that actually can do the work, so we're not getting a bunch of aggressive cuts to hide the fact that he can't actually do the action.
Martial arts, yeah.
Right?
You're hoping he's done some work and we get some good
he
shots.
very well might be highly qualified and have done a lot of action stuff. I don't see a single one on any of the movies that you're placed in front of me right now.
Yeah, we were I was going through it, was trying to figure out where I knew him from, and it was Kim's Convenience. I thought it was maybe an action movie that I watched. Nope, no,
I mean,
none of those.
it was either that or the Asian Bachelor 2.
He was also on Fresh Off the Boat. So that's where people might know him a little bit more. Simu Liu.
I guess so.
First reaction, man. How did you feel? Watching it and kind of seeing, having a whole bunch of context. What did you think of it?
It was a fun trailer.
Yeah.
It's really hard to put out a bad trailer though. That the more and more we do this, that's why I've avoided trailers. It gives you a decent idea. I wonder the order of how some of that stuff plays out. We talked about that a little bit before we got on here. I do wonder how much they put in order. I feel like some of the stuff towards the end of the trailer could have been actually more
from the beginning.
I don't know. Aquafina is going to be there primarily for comedic relief.
And that's kind of how we were gauging our timelines. It was like an Aquafina sighting. We were like, no, wait, she's here.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, no, that definitely plays a role there. Yeah, she's the comedic relief.
I don't necessarily know the story. I don't know the character, so that's always exciting too to kind of get this new look at something here. So we'll see how it is.
Yeah, I'm excited for
We're
it.
gonna get another full fucking trailer, you know that. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, because I'm a little bit worried that these full trailers give too much.
Mhm.
And when we say that, I'd like to move on to what I think was a very highly anticipated trailer for you, the F9 trailer.
So let's talk F9 real quick. Do you think where it's called Shang-Chi in the 10 Rings, that there's just like a built-in crossover idea here they better not miss?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you.
I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog has to be in this movie.
I think if you had 10 rings and you're Sonic, that's not a good thing. Because you need 100 just to get a free life.
Well, you got to start somewhere, and like those 10 rings could get them pretty fucking far, dude.
Then you're talking like you're going to have 10 more movies? I don't think so, man.
All right, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Just a thought. So F9. F9 is... yeah, it's my favorite fucking series, man. I'm not ashamed about it. I do have like some thoughts on this, and I don't know. So it's like, is this for the first time that I may have like a negative thing to say about it? And it's not like negative, because I largely enjoyed the entirety of this trailer. This is still mostly everything I love about the series. That it's unabashedly adrenaline, stupidity, just it's balls to the wall the entire time, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you come to this for the story, but if you followed from the beginning, there is somewhat of a loose storyline that you can keep up with throughout it, right?
Family.
Exactly. It all comes down to familia and Coronas.
Whoa.
This one, my issue is like, is this one a little too like spit in the face of the fan base with like, I just didn't like, it's not even a John Cena brother line that's like very soap opera-y, like it's Dom's brother. Like, I just don't like the way that's said in the trailer. Sounds really corny.
So much weird emphasis.
But the issue I actually have is, and it's like a WWE issue. And that's the first thing I was thinking. When we watched the trailer today, I was thinking about it. So Han is dead, right? It's a very impactful, very important death, right, in the series. In the WWE, they could do like the biggest fucking angle in the world, right? Yeah. But then 2 weeks later, Vince McMahon can just be like, yeah, I'm just not into it anymore.
We're going to change it.
And we just take the person off TV for 2 weeks, and then they're back as a completely different character, and you're supposed to just act cool like you've never seen it before. I am afraid with the fact that I watched a 2-minute trailer that had Han for a minute and a half of it being a very, very major, pivotal part, but I still don't have an answer as to how he's alive. That when I get them into the movie, there's going to be like a 30-second explanation as to why he's there. And we're supposed to just...
be cool with it.
Yeah. Like, doesn't it feel a little bit like
Brother,
that?
I watched the end of a movie where I watched Jason Statham look this man in the car and blow him to smithereens.
Yeah. And I honestly think there's going to be a relatively... the same way they retconned that. I mean, like... they changed that whole perspective already once, Matt. Man. So realize that, like, I'm not worried about that being an issue. And I actually don't mind, like, the series already has established that you're going to bring people back from the dead. So I don't mind that at all, actually. I just don't like that. Like, I want it to mean something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to bring back this character that just for the sake of bringing him back, at least give me within storyline. And maybe they'll prove me wrong. But then it takes away a lot of the impact when I've already seen all of his biggest moments in a highlight reel in your trailer.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I loved basically everything else. I would like to take my moment for everybody to applaud me. I told you fucking Bow Wow was in this shit.
Yeah, you did.
I told you that little hairline that I saw in that screen was Bow Wow.
Granted, he didn't see it until the third take.
But yeah. Well, but Bow Wow's in it.
Bow Wow's in it.
Right.
Lenny gets his roses.
Yeah, I was.
Peace be with
right
you, brother.
Hell.
You were 100% right.
The last thing that pumped me up about this is my favorite fucking thing from this trailer.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking space, dude.
No, I know. When you said that,
we're going to fucking space. Not this movie. We won't be in space in this movie, dude, but they all but confirmed
that F10 is going to be in space.
We're going to space. Like, dude, they were driving in like a combination of the car from Back to the Future and a spaceship.
They've been hanging out with Nikola Tesla. I mean, what's his name? Elon Musk.
Yeah,
a lot.
Nikola Tesla.
The man who owns Tesla, Elon Musk. They've been spending a lot of time with him in SpaceX, dude. Hopefully it works out for him. I'm glad you're excited for this. I knew that you would be, and I don't want to, I don't know, give you a spoiled banana for your lunch, but I hated this trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even just this trailer. It's a culmination of everything that they've done with some of their trailers. I feel like I already watched the movie. I feel like there are no bigger points aside from the storyline that you're going to be able to offer me that I didn't just get from this trailer.
See, I don't necessarily agree with you because they've always given you like some of their big action sequences in the trailer and still found a way to have even grander.
Yeah, but that is insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that a man launching himself off of a mountain and having a aircraft pick him up midway before he crashes into it isn't okay? Isn't a high enough ceiling for you that then another car jumps off, gets hooked on the tire, and gets swung over to the other mountain?
Yeah.
There's gonna be more than that.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, man. Like you're not wrong.
I
don't think you're wrong from a critical standpoint. It's just not a movie that I go into looking for realism.
I know, I get that, man.
When I see, like, honest to God, like, if I go to that movie, which I'll see it in the theaters, right? I'll be the first showing they have possible to see it. When any of that stuff happens, I will have a smile on my face from ear to fucking ear, happily watching it because like that's what I'm there for. Like that's literally what I'm signed up for, and I appreciate that they don't lie to you and tell you that it's going to be anything otherwise.
I know.
Like I said, I think that they might be going a little far at this point.
A little.
But it's not in the sense of the action. The action, there's never going to be a single thing that they could do that's too far from an action perspective.
Maybe it's the 45-mile long runways. I don't know, Lenny. There's something about these movies. But I don't want to spend too much time on
these movies, like, if you're going to get, like, to that level of needing to break down logic.
I don't need you getting defensive.
We can talk about, like, fucking 007.
Listen,
we
don't have enough time.
Whatever.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah, no, we've gone heavily over, dude. Let's close out on on Bucky's dick.
I wanted to do this after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No, yeah, we're not even. We'll leave it at that. Bucky's dick, dude. Look it up.
Yeah, if you need to know, Sebastian Stan going full nude in a show / movie.
I wouldn't even give them that much. I think we should have just left it at Sebastian Stan's dick. Look it up.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit us at For Those With Good Taste. Instagram at Good Taste Live, on Twitter.
Yeah, listen, like this hasn't been our best timing for a podcast. We had like many topics that we wanted to get to, but dude, I'll tell you, man, I think we had a lot of fun here. I've left feeling a lot more intelligent about La Liga, dude, and I'm really happy. I'm happy for the changes.
Yeah, you're not going to catch Matt's Manchester Minute for at least the next 10 weeks just to make up for the 10 minutes that I took up this week. So
yeah, if you've gotten this far, right? If you're still here for this, and you are a soccer fan out there, first of all, let us know your squad. Tottenham, your Tottenham team.
Eric,
if you are a fan of them, let us know. And also, let Matt know how you feel about La Liga, the Super League, how you feel that's going to go down. And if we should talk about more soccer, because I have no problem talking about shit I don't know. I do it every week on here. So let's add another topic. Soccer? You want more soccer out there, guys? We haven't even gotten into the fucking Celtics, the Knicks. Dude.
Listen, man, if we start talking about the Knicks and the Mets, I may never leave.
Yeah.
They're killing it right now.
You know what the thing is, man? I'm like rambling on when I tried to get us out of here. It's that now that we have these new like arms and shit,
we're feeling good.
I feel so like cash, bro. Like, look at this. Look what I'm sitting in this chair.
I know. You're very open
like,
right now.
I'm just hanging out here. It's like, I feel like I could talk for a few more hours, man. And it's like, maybe we are. And maybe we have another episode we got to record.
The good thing for you is that we've got plenty more to talk about.
Yeah.
But just not for this episode.
Yeah, check out our MMA episode. That's the last thing I'll say. I'll promise I'm going to stop fucking rambling. But let's be real. If you listen to the whole episode where I talked for an hour by myself, I can do this.
Yeah,
so
we've established that.
We're going to have another episode coming out this week. We're going to be talking Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman, the stacked UFC pay-per-view we have this weekend. We'll probably talk a little bit about Jake Paul knocking out Ben Askren.
We'll spend less time than the fight actually took.
That's impossible. That is just categorically
they've got to tune in to see if we can do it.
Find out if we can do that. I doubt it, but I look forward to trying. Until next week, guys, it's been real. Please check us out on social. We love you. This is fucking
Peas up, A-Town down.
For those with good taste.